The king has apparently returned, but not quite as we remember it. Now this is the 2022 Samsung Galaxy Note Ultra S22. It's all of the above. So this video is just a quick first impressions before I start putting it through its paces for the next 2 weeks. I've also got the S22 Plus arriving soon, and basically I'm going to decide which of those two phones I'm going to keep. So stay tuned for that. We've got some battery tests coming up, maybe a camera review. Let me know down in the comments what you'd like to compare this phone to. Because first of all, after unboxing this phone, the first thing I immediately noticed was its size, its weight, its shape. It's really heavy. I mean, this thing weighs almost as much as the iPhone 13 Pro Max version, the big mama version. And holding it, in all honesty, just doesn't feel comfortable. It's definitely a two-hand job, I would say. And it's not comfortable because of those super sharp corners that just kind of really jab into the palm of your hand. Definitely something to get used to. Although I think after a while maybe you'll get the those calluses might appear in your palm. Just we'll see there. So I would say that if you're coming from a Note to this, then yes, you know exactly what to expect. If you are, however, coming from an S21, then you definitely have some adjusting to do. However, you know, and with that said, once you do get over the initial differences in the shape and size and actually start using the thing, well, it gets good again. The phone is lightning fast. I mean, really responsive. There's no sign of any slowdowns or lag or blips that you sometimes get with Android phones. And that screen, I mean, Samsung always seems to have the most beautiful displays of all the phones, but its edge-to-edge finish and the slight curves on the edge just looks great. And it can also do the full 120 Hz and at full quad HD resolution, as well as ramping that down to just 1 Hz when looking at maybe photos or reading text on the screen. It does look stunning. I mean, images and video that look crisp and bright and clear, and the sound that comes from it, also pretty good. Really clear. So I am looking forward to watching some more content on this thing. Now, first impressions of the camera so far has also been pretty good experience-wise. I am liking having that telephoto back again, and so on the S22 that's a 10 times telephoto, but also has that ridiculous 100 times space zoom. I mean, that's just nuts. And for me, at least the 10 times zoom is great for getting shots of like my kids, since they won't stand still and normally won't sit within, you know, a few feet of me in one place. So I need to snap photos whilst they're kind of running around with this thing. And then one thing that surprised me about the S22 is the pen. Now, I've never really been a big fan of pens with phones, in all honesty. I always find the screens just aren't big enough to write on comfortably. But it is really interesting to have one, again, mainly because, again, first impressions, writing on this thing is incredibly responsive. It's got a 240 Hz sampling rate, which puts it in exactly the same field as the iPad Pro, actually, and the Apple Pencil on iPad. And writing on it, whilst I would say it's not as comfortable as writing on the iPad because of the size, it's definitely a better experience than what I've had before. And even the audio you hear when writing on this phone, it's kind of gimmicky, but weirdly does make you feel a bit more connected when I'm actually writing, even though the screen itself, of course, doesn't feel like paper. And the handy features like using the pen like a remote control to take photos. Again, really looking forward to trying that out, and lots of those features over the coming weeks. Now, the only negatives that I've got on this phone right now, aside from its kind of awkward shape, is that I've heard the haptic motor on this has changed from a Z-axis to an X-axis motor, which I've heard means it's less buzzy when it does vibrate. And also the charging speeds. I'm going to be testing this soon, but apparently the S22 Ultra, even though it says it supports full 25-watt charging, well, people online have noticed that the S22 Ultra only takes, I think it was like 1 minute less to charge to full when using a 25-watt charger instead of the 45-watt charger. Huh? So anyway, that is just my short take and first impression since unboxing the S22 Ultra. There will be a full review in 2 weeks' time after I've had some proper time with this thing, so subscribe if you want to see that. In the meantime, perhaps go and check out my Google Pixel 6 Pro review, or have a look at which password manager you should be using across all your devices, and I'll, see you in the next one. Cheers.